Hello and welcome back to Chasing the Target. We were away for a few days, but there's a lot of rain-affected cricket matches, so we thought let's come to you today on Monday. Get rid of your Monday blues. I have with me Mr. Festar. How are you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. Actually, there's a lot of rain and a storm apparently in Uttar Pradesh with the Uttar Pradesh team, Gaikwad, which we're going to get into later on. But yeah, it's been good a few days. More focus on the Football World Cup, but cricket is cricket. It's time to get back to the roots in it.
Yeah, 100%. And let's start off. I think we have a lot of news today, so our segment will be focused on fresh off the press. So let's start off with that. So the first thing that is that Afghanistan have qualified for the 50 over World Cup. They won the first game by 60 runs against Sri Lanka, made 290. They got Sri Lanka out for 230, and then in the second game they had registered around 228, but the rain came and that gave them a point in that ODI rankings, and they have now qualified for that World Cup. And Afghanistan, we all know that in the T20 format, that's the strongest format. That's what they have improved on. But even in 50 overs, they can be lethal in Indian conditions. We saw in England, they weren't as effective. Yes, they had a close game against Pakistan in the 2019 World Cup, but then, Owen Morgan came and smashed the likes of Rashid Mujib and these guys. So I think in these conditions in India, they will definitely be, a threat for teams. And also, there's an announcement like we both saw yesterday that Dubai will be hosting all the Afghanistan home games. So that it's not the same as Indian conditions, but it is similar in the subcontinent, and they'll have good preparation going into the 50 over World Cup.
Yeah, I think the best thing for Afghanistan, it's the maturity they've been showing with every game and every format. In this series against Sri Lanka, also they performed very good with the bat and the ball. They had, heroes in terms of, Fazal Farooqi picked up 4 wickets. Gulbadan Nabi, I think he picked up a few in the first match. In terms of batting, Gurbaz has been showing, signs of redemption, and he's sort of got back-to-back 50s. So has, Rahmat Shah. So I think with all of these people pitching in now, it's coming to that point where you're not dependent on the Rashids and the Nabis and experienced kind of cricketers. These guys are pulling up their socks and sort of learning and maturing themselves with the cricket that they've been playing since the T20 World Cup. And you can't just call now Afghanistan a T20 team anymore. I think they're surely going to be one team to watch out for the 50 over World Cup. And like you rightfully mentioned, the conditions in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, wherever they decide to play, it's much more similar to India, so they'll have an ample amount of time to sort of get themselves ready for the World Cup.
And you mentioned Fazal Farooqi, and they are developing fast bowlers now for sure. He has a really good Yorker on him. He has good pace, so they are preparing for conditions away from home as well. We saw in Australia as well. There was some good glimpses. They gave Australia such a scare in that T20 World Cup. So I think Afghanistan are really developing, and of course we know that they had talent, and it's now fastly grooming. And like you said, it's not just Rashid and Nabi; all the other players are chipping in. They're also getting exposed in T20 leagues. I'm sure they will get contracts all over the world, and that will just improve them as a team. We always knew that they had the passion, but the sudden rise is because they've invested in their infrastructure. They're playing other leagues, they're playing more cricket, and when they play against bigger nations as well, I'm sure it's going to cause problems for opposition teams, and they will compete at the biggest level.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the main thing with Afghanistan is the unity within the team. I think them and the management actually don't get along very well. We also saw those, sort of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
problems he was having with Nabi and stuff. But as a unit, they're very good. They're a pact, and I think
The
that's the
players
most
themselves,
important thing. Sorry.
they're like a unit.
Yeah, yeah, the players. So that's like exactly what is required. Even with Zimbabwe, we saw the same thing. They were a pack, they were a unit, with themselves, and we saw what that could do for them. So I think it's going to be interesting to see these kind of, the likes of, probably USA is also playing a lot of good cricket. So in the future, we'll be able to see these countries, give India and Australia the likes of the money.
Yeah, and yeah, so congratulations to them. I'm sure
Yeah.
they will do well. And we saw, these were Sri Lankan conditions. It wasn't Afghanistan. It wasn't in Dubai where they normally play. It was in Sri Lanka. So we know the threat they have in subcontinental conditions. Imagine playing three spinners. You have Rashid Mujib, then even Kais Ahmed will get a go. They have the left arm spinner as well. He played under 19. I forgot his name. Zahir Ahmed, I think, or Zahir.
Yeah.
Zakir Ahmed, something like that. He's also a threatening spinner, so they have plenty of options. And then Nabi will bowl your off spin, and I think the likes in the middle order as well. Ibrahim Zardran, he's shown a lot of maturity. Him and Nabi as well. I saw
Yeah.
in the last
Bowler.
game. Which rained out. Nabi did finish it off for them, and
Yeah.
like they do have some mature players as well, like, who can play the long innings. That's going to be the key to play the 50 overs. Sticking with international cricket, bro. Sanju Samson warming the bench, man. There's a lot of talk about it now that it's become the main discussion point in Indian cricket because, like, of course, we're not having that many matches because of rain and all that. But I saw a few photos of fans, Indian fans in Qatar, holding the banner in the stadium that Sanju Samson were with you and in full support of Sanju Samson. I'm sure they're from Kerala, but yeah, like it's crazy the support that he's getting, man, worldwide support.
Yeah, I think it's very, easy to see the, injustice that's being done with him. I mean, for a player of his quality, I mean, I'm not gonna say he's consistent like we've been discussing throughout, but I think
Yeah,
thoda,
that's why I don't feel it's that big of a thing. I understand where they're coming from.
yeah,
उतना भी वो नहीं है कि भाई की like पूरा दुनिया चेंज कर दो भाई उसको खिला ही नहीं खिलाना है. I understand from his perspective, but I also understand from the other perspective as well. You have to look at from
the
both.
Yeah, I think the only thing that is carrying the why this is catching इतना कैकू इन नजरों में आ रहे लोगों के and अपने लोग तो भाई they just need a reason to start making memes. तो memes का यही है कि भाई I'm seeing so many के bench he's hugging the bench and he's kissing the bench and it's just that's how it's things sort of heat up and as a player I think Sanju Samson is trying to handle this out and see it out. But yeah, I do understand कि first match में 36 runs मारा and उसके बाद भी bench पे अगर बिठा रहे and the likes of
That's
Rishabh Pant
true.
was not performing and Shreyas Iyer got a 80, but again we saw previously what he was doing. I think that is what is catching people's eye that ये खुला injustice हो रहा कि भाई बंदा मार भी रहा है विकेट कीपिंग भी वो भी कर सकता है विकेट कीपिंग इतना कोई like it's no difference दोनों
And
के
Pant
अंदर.
is not performing at all.
Exactly. So I think वही एक reason and he played very good in that England. I think the series that happened just before the World Cup where Shikhar Dhawan led the team, he played well in that as well. So, and he made a 50 or something in the third or second ODI. So I think वो सब चीजों को people वो दिमाग में दगा लेके पंत को कहीं को खिला रहे and those questions where we always have controversy in Indian cricket. If there's no controversy, you can't live it out. So I think यही है कि भाई अभी और memes बनेंगे. I think it's not the end. And I think 30th November will be a very big deciding factor for Hardik Pandya because अगर उन्हें नहीं खिलाया तो फिर खत्म है उसके बाद तो the meme world will go crazy I think.
But if you remember, I don't think it caught this much fire. But the similar situation was between Manish Pandey and Surya Kumar Yadav. When Surya Kumar was smashing it in the IPL in domestic circuit, he was banging down the door, and Manish Pandey was being selected. There was a similar situation there. But I don't remember the outroar, the public outroar like we've seen here. It's everywhere. It's on Twitter. It's in Qatar. It's in India. It's probably going to hit the states also. Like Samson ko khilao. So I guess he also has that fan following. Kerala's also he's Kerala's very own. Like he's a unique player from there. So I think the people from there are also raising their voice. It could be that. But this in Indian cricket, we've seen these situations before. Like at that time, Surya Kumar should have got a spot. He didn't. They prolonged with Manish Pandey. Then finally got dropped. Surya Kumar got his chance, and it took Surya Kumar some time. Man, he didn't light it up on fire.
As
It
soon
took
as
him time. It took him a good year to settle into the Indian team, and now he's smashing it very, very consistently. So I guess you give Samson that same chance, give him a good run, and then see what happens. But yeah, I'm just surprised the outro has been crazy. I also feel bad for him, but at the same time, if I look at it from the Rishabh Pant's point of view, that's a lot of pressure as well. Like someone that like everyone's backing for your competitor to come into the team. That means your place is going.
Yeah, I think the main thing here that Rishabh Pant and Sanju Samson both need to understand is just be professional and don't let this sort of roar of the world, get to them. वरना इनके बीच में conflict आ गया तो वो politics अलग है. ऋषभ ने करा क्या क्या ऋषभ उनको नहीं बोले हाँ रोनाल्डो के साथ करते ब्रूनो को हाई नहीं करा या ऋषभ को बाय नहीं कर रहे हैं वो ऋषि को ला ले कुछ तो बीचों में ये चीला नहीं लाना. I think that is what the momentum of the team will have to carry on. ये सब चीजों को शन कर देना and just focus on the game and I mean be like just wait for your chance, it will come, you will have to perform on that time and अगर वो time पे perform नहीं करा तो भाई आपकी ही problem है फिर तो.
Yeah, no, 100%. Let's see how this pans out. It's very interesting. It's like the main headlines right now in the Indian media. So let's see what pans out in that third one day. Will Samson get a chance? Will they persist with Pant? And if Pant fails again, then will that be his like, I mean, will he be dropped for
And
sure in the
yeah.
next one day series? I think if he doesn't perform in this game, they will drop him for the next series, and Samson will get his chance. But then people will say, why not give him a chance now in New Zealand conditions? Let Samson take that challenge. So देखेंगे क्या होता. The other thing I want to talk about, there's a few things, but let's. Because we were talking about Samson and stuff, let's stick to Indian players and talk about Ruturaj Gaikwad, man. क्या
Oh,
मारा भाई. 150 balls में 220 strike rate, 138, 16 छक्के and 10 fours, man. What an unbelievable innings. And the icing on the cake, or the main thing about this whole thing, was that he hit 7 sixes in 1 over, including a six off a
yeah.
no ball, man.
Yeah, I mean, when I got up in the morning, it was trending Ruturaj, Ruth, yeah. Like, क्या कर रहा है, क्या कर रहा है, like, because I know him from only Chennai Super Kings. I have not been following the Vijay Hazare as much, but six, like 7 sixes, bro. Like, युवराज का आज तक याद है यार, but ये तो एक अलग ही चीज है. And doing it in considerably big tournament. ऐसा नहीं कि Vijay Hazare is a small tournament, and बेचारा जो भी bowler है, I feel very bad for him, but that's insane, bro. Like 42, 43 runs in
And
one
this is
over.
the positive of social media. If you just like look back at it, we always hammer social media by like privacy nahi hai, ye nahi hai, wo nahi hai. But now the whole world has seen his 6 sixes on Twitter. Like everybody shared it, from Cricinfo to English journalists to Indian, Pakistani, everybody seen it. But otherwise, you would have to wait for that clip. You'd have to go somewhere on YouTube and try to find it and everything. But with Twitter and Instagram, this is the positive. Ruturaj's name is now the most trending name
Yeah.
probably on Indian Twitter. So that's the positive of social media. But beautiful shots, man. He was just slogging it over the leg side, but also he hit 2 sixes straight. And
Yeah.
Gaikwad has shown that he's not physically well built to be a six hitter, but he has impeccable timing, and really good shot selection. He understands his game really well, and we've seen in the IPL as well. He plays at a very healthy strike rate, and again today, when the accelerator was needed, he put his foot
Yeah.
to the metal and completely smashed it out of the park, man. It was a
आज तो
great.
आज तो ऐसा लगा कि ब्रेक ही टूट गया, कोई ब्रेक ही नहीं है गाड़ी में, खाली गोइंग, गाड़ी भाग रही है. 43 रन यार. अगर सोचो तुम्हें कि अगर कोई T20 सिनेरियो में कोई ऐसा चीज कर दिया, where you need 43 runs of like 12 balls or something, and someone comes and pulls this rabbit, तो भी नहीं बोल सकते भाई, rabbit तो बहुत छोटी चीज है. I think a giraffe out of a hat, तो
Yeah.
ऐसा
And
ओवर
they lost by
काम कर दिया.
58 runs. They won by 58 runs. UP lost by 58
Yeah.
runs. So that was the deciding factor. That over itself was the deciding factor. अगर उसमें like 15 run चले गए, फिर UP will chase down the score. It's a completely different scenario when you're chasing even 290, 300 and 330, and that over completely changed the whole game, man. क्या मारा
Yeah.
भाई.
I think, but like credit to Uttar Pradesh also, despite getting smashed. I mean, obviously आपका mental वो चले आता था, balance out आया था, 43 runs को आपको मार दिए, तो आप तो like भूल जाते, अरे छोड़ो, हो गया, चलो घर जाएंगे सोचते अपन. But credit to them, even I think one of their players managed to get a century
Yeah.
in despite the circumstances that were at hand. And
Aryan Jual,
Aryan
159 not
Jual,
over.
yeah, Aryan Jual, yeah. He played splendidly, and there was a 5-wicket haul also, from
Yeah.
Rajvardhan Hangaragekar, and
You,
I
you,
think
you
that
know who
was
he is? He's the boy from the under-19s winning team, man. Who won the World Cup in the beginning of the year in the West Indies. Hungrecker. So really good to see him, man, perform like that and
yeah.
pick up 5 wickets. I'm really happy for him. He bowled really well in the under-19 World Cup, and to play like honestly, it's a big step up under-19 to domestic cricket. It's much more competitive. So to pick up a fifer, hats off to him.
Yeah, crazy. And I mean, yeah, you can't take anything away from the Gaikwad thing, obviously, but there are, still like so many cameos in this. I won't even call these cameos, but like match-winning performances. In like one match, we have almost like 3 to 4 match-winning performances. So that just shows the amount of talent that we have in our camp, in India. It's just crazy.
Yeah, Tech Live has joined us. Thank you so much, Bhai, for joining us. Is like, then why our first class champions are not able to perform at international level like Samson, Ruturaj Vihari? I think, look, international cricket is completely different ball game. It takes time, first of all, to adjust. Even Surya Kumar Yadav, usko bhi time laga tha. He didn't come and satellite the Indian team like he did for Mumbai Indians. Usko time laga tha. He was inconsistent. If you look at the UAE T20 World Cup, his scores were nothing compared to the ones now in Australia. So it took him a good year easier to settle in the Indian team. There's a lot of pressure. Also, when you're playing domestic cricket, like, you get more games. You're not insecure about your position. You have no one trying to knock down the door. Someone like a Gaikwad, or like, a player who plays regular domestic cricket, utna competition nahi rehta. You're much more relaxed. The eyeballs are less as well. It's completely different situation. Also, playing in different conditions, you don't have that exposure right now, right? Like, you need to go with the India A, you need to play in go with India as well. Tour, I know they don't play domestic leagues, but with India A, you still get that exposure. With under 19, you still get that exposure of playing in different conditions. So that also takes some time. It's completely different ball game, because you're the 11 selected out of a billion people and
Yeah.
playing for India, and the pressure is completely different. That's why, those performances don't. It takes time to for them to perform. Virat Kohli hit his peak in 2000 and what did you say, 11,
15.
12? No, after the 11 World Cup, so 2012, 13. That wasn't even his peak. That's when he came onto the map and he was scoring some big knocks. And then 2016 was his peak. But when did he start his career? He started career in 2008, right? He was playing in those series
Bangalore.
against everything.
Yeah,
He was
even
playing in
yeah,
also.
Chavi. Yeah,
फर्स्ट आईपीएल आपको याद है, he didn't do anything in that
yeah.
IPL. कुछ परफॉर्मेंस नहीं था उसका. So and that transition from under 19 to domestic, then from domestic to international, for a time like that, that's the reason why it's like that. That's just
Yeah,
my
and
opinion.
like you correctly said, like there's so much cutthroat competition. इसमें कैसे रहता है भाई? Even in a Vijay Hazare to get, we all know how the system works and कितना politics भी रहता है इसमें. Like ऐसा नहीं है कि it's not easy to even get to this level of cricket. Like
Also,
रांची तक
yeah,
ही आए जब तक आपकी उम्र चले आती है. I think सूर्य कुमार 31 का हो गया अभी या 32 का.
32,
So
yeah.
the age का भी factor होता है कि and then there's so many politics that you have to go through, so many things that you have to fight till you get a spot in the Ranchi, and then get to the likes of Vijay Hazare and these kind of tournaments. इसमें खेलने इतनी बड़ी बात है, but like yeah, I mean I understand your question कि भाई ये first class, but conditions मिलते नहीं होते, उतना chance भी नहीं मिलता. अब Samson भी, it's not like he's not performing, but it's just he's not getting those consistent run of games. There's a lot of competition and a billion people, like Mustafa pointed out. So I think वो एक बहुत बड़ा factor हो जाता है.
Also saying, I thought once Virat leaves the captaincy from all forms, the cricket, the fitness criteria also down, and you see Pant doesn't look fit. His bat swing is not up to the mark. Look, fitness is a criteria right now because you're playing three formats. अगर आपको तीन format के player है जैसा ऋषभ पंत है, you have to work on your fitness, because then it's difficult to survive. And he's been playing cricket for the last couple of years. And look, Rishabh Pant, it's not like he hasn't performed at the international level. He has. He just needs to now improve. He has to improve his fitness. Also, he has to improve his game more than anything. He has to improve his game. He has to understand what his weaknesses are, and he has to come back to how he was feeling at that time. When he was playing really well, or what was his approach. Try to get that back. Everyone has a bad form, but Virat Kohli didn't have 100 for 2-3 years. Everyone was saying that he needs to try. Then he had one of the best World Cups for an individual player, right? Like, of course, it didn't work out from India's perspective. That innings he played against Pakistan was unbelievable. But Virat Kohli was so fit physically. He didn't. His fitness was not compromised in those 3 years where he didn't score 100, but he still didn't score 100, right? So sometimes it's not about fitness, sometimes it's a mental thing, sometimes it's a thing about form, it's technique. Also, there's also a lot of factors into it. Fitness is a big criteria, I completely agree, but it's everything put together. You can't just that's what I'm saying. The fittest guy in the game, he went through such a rough patch, so you expect other
Yeah.
players to as well.
Yeah, and apart from fitness, like you said, the mental part, I think also with time, आपको maturity आती. अभी ऋषभ पंत is still young. You will know what games to play, what games to leave. कौन सा game में खेलूं? Because every game खेलना भी आपके लिए healthy नहीं है. Every game आप
और वो ये हेल्प नहीं होता फैज जो सर of
three
course
formats. Yeah.
he has competition with Dinesh Karthik, now he has competition with Samson. You can say healthy competition, right? But he's in and out of the team. Like in the T20 World Cup, he didn't play the first few games, then he's playing semi-finals suddenly. He played the last two games, right? So he's not gonna थोड़ा सा ऊपर नीचे हो रहा. That's not easy, but also like फिर हम लोग तो मजाक करते but that Urvashi thing and everything is a joke for us, but it does affect the player, bro. Like to be honest with you,
100%.
you saw that video also जब like
I honestly एक चीज मजाक में अपन दोस्तों में ले लो, like just a general thing. अगर कोई बच्ची के साथ दिख गए तो अरे तो वो बच्ची के साथ था ये वो बोलती है अपन अपन ही चीमू हो जाते. तो उन लोगों को तो every person who knows them and doesn't know them, they will question that. So it multiplies 500 times for every cricketer in India. तो है, I mean वो चीज भी है, mental issues भी रहते हैं, physical aspect भी बहुत important है. मेरे को personally for Rishabh Pant and Rohit Sharma, I think Indian management has to step in and like decide a weight that every player must be on, and पोजीशन वाइज में भी दे कुछ शन लाइक जैसे फुटबॉल में होता है आपको ये वेट पे रहना है आपको मूवमेंट के लिए मोमेंटम के लिए तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज आई थिंक द इंडियन मैनेजमेंट हैज टू sort of implement. And I think it also comes back to how your captain is. When Dhoni was there, I think most of the players were fit. Dhoni also used to keep him in top shape. I think Rohit Sharma has to implement this thing as well in the camp.
Yeah, it's also because of the three formats. In the past, when we were growing up, bro, the likes of Inzamam, Sehwag, Sachin, they're not like the fittest. Like Inzamam in particular, everyone used to talk about his weight, but he was the one of the most talented batsmen going around. He used to win games till the last ball he should take. I've seen him almost chase down 350 against India, if you
350.
remember in that
Yeah,
friendship series.
yeah, yeah.
He had that thing, but of course, the game now demands you because you're playing so much cricket and you're playing different formats. It demands that fitness level. But I'm just saying that even if you have the fitness, doesn't translate into performance. So you have to look at the other side as
100%.
well, and
Yeah.
that's
So
what.
like then that thing comes with how England, sort of changed their whole thing. England made three teams, three squad, three captains. Maybe look
Yeah,
into that format.
maybe look into that thing as well. 100%. I think that's the way to go because even the one of the fittest players in the world, Ben Stokes, usko bhi like breaks lena padta. He doesn't play every series, and he's not in the one day format right now. He's retired from one day series as well.
But that again,
Faizal,
see, that's a mature part of Ben Stokes. He knew that he had to call it cuts. अपने पास क्या है? खेलते रहो, चलते रहो,
उन्हें
पैसे
क्या
आने दो,
करता
चल.
उन्हें क्या करता वनडे वर्ल्ड कप आ रहा T20 से रिटायर होके वनडे शुरू करता he'll play it smart.
Exactly.
I can be completely wrong, but that's what I think he'll do. But another innings today which is worth talking about is the one by Mr. Rayan Parag. He's one of the most criticized guys in the IPL. Like everyone says that why is he in the Rajasthan team? He plays every single game. They keep him because he can bowl a bit, bat a bit, but he doesn't perform consistently. He only has one performance, but today it was a complete match winning performance. Scored 170 in that chase of 350 against Jammu Kashmir. Great innings, and his strike rate was unbelievable as well. I just need to pull that up, but it was a great innings by Mr. Priyam strike rate of 150, 174 of 116 balls, 12 fours and 12 sixes. Man, he smashed it out of the
Wow.
park as well.
Riyan Parag. Yeah, Assam, I mean, master from the eastern side also we're getting हर जगह से क्रिकेट है यार इंडिया में. I mean, it's just वही होता है कि वही
Good to see ये
competition.
provinces इतने मशहूर नहीं थे पहले हम लोग जब देखते थे अब now it's really growing.
Yeah, and I think यही है कि भाई ये जितना अपन डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट को I think टेलीवाइज करें जितना इसको लोगों के आंखों के सामने लाए. I think the people will also get a belief system that we are working towards things. Indian cricket ऐसा हिच नहीं छोड़ दिया. ऐसा नहीं कि भाई we're not planning and plotting, but है काफी talent है and 12 sixes, 12 fours, beautiful innings, beautiful strike rate like you mentioned. I think a lot of players will come out from that side going in the future.
Yeah, 100%. If Surya is in good form, then why he comes after Iyer and Pant and first ODI? I think Surya, they should just fix his position number 4. That's the position he plays. So number 4 is a vital position. It allows you to dictate the game in the middle. Also, when if early wickets are fallen, it allows you to soak up the pressure and build an innings which Surya can do. But also, if there's a platform set, then he can come and smash it. I think the player they should groom for one down after Virat Kohli is Shubman Gill. I
Shubman
think he
Gill.
needs to play one down. I know he opens for in the IPL and he's opened for India as well in the past, but I want to see him groomed as the one down player. And Sanju Samson is also an option for one down, but he can also bat at 5 and 4. So these are some options, but I just feel like in the distant vision, all right now, that Shubman Gill should be
What
one down.
about just a question here? What about KL Rahul? Like, do you think he could play one down because he takes his
I
time
think
and could
KL
anchor
Rahul will
innings?
play either 2 or 3 down in the one day format. He doesn't open the batting in the one day format. We
Yeah.
forget because India hasn't played one days in a while. But KL Rahul plays in the middle order only, and that's where he plays. And he will have stiff competition now because it's not just him. There's Sanju Samson, Surya Kumar,
Yeah.
Shreyas Iyer. All these guys will be competing for that spot. And let's see
And
what happens. Indian pitches, Iyer has a shot because he plays spin well. I know that even on Indian pitches, the bouncer troubles him, like we saw in the IPL, but he's there in the conversation.
yeah, and in the last match we were seeing Surya Kumar getting off to a start 34 mara 25 balls ke to
Yeah.
and he came I think number 3. तो है
उसको तो
इंटरेस्टिंग
खिलाना ही खिलाना आई नो
वाला है.
दैट उन्हें
अब
नहीं खेलता नहीं खेल रहा था पहले वनडे क्रिकेट में अब उसको खिलाना ही खिलाना है सूर्या को
या
आई थिंक
बांग्लादेश का टीम का देखना पड़ेगा कैसा बनाएंगे. एंड आई थिंक ऑल द बिग बॉयज विल कम बैक जल्दी जल्दी. अब तो रोहित शर्मा, विराट कोहली आर आल्सो इन द टीम. So it's going to be interesting with Dravid's return and how they sort of take things and start, revamping and restructuring their 50 over World Cup era.
Yeah, and Fez, news coming through that England have landed in Pakistan after 17 years. I think it was the last series was in 2006. After that Ashes, they went to Pakistan when Shoaib Akhtar had a stunning series. Man, he developed
Oof,
that slower full toss ball, which used
four,
to dip on the likes of Flintoff and
yeah,
these guys.
yeah.
And yeah, that was the last time. And Pakistan, I think, won that series 1 or 2 nil. But now England are coming in under Mr. Ben Stokes' leadership and Brendan McCullum. Baseball has been invented in the English summer, and this is their first test overseas. It's going to be a great test. We mentioned last time as well, if you keep flat tracks, it's going to suit England because they will play aggressive cricket. And you can see in the team selection, man, they got Livingston into the test squad, bro. Like, that's crazy. He's like a T20 specialist. He's in the test squad. Then, they've got Will Jacks as well. He's a spinner who can hit. He In that warm-up game against England Lions, he hit 80 or 40 as well. So he's someone to watch out for. So
One
if it's
interesting person that I want to watch, just sorry to cut you short there, but would be Rehan, Ahmed, who's
yeah,
most probably the
Rehan Ahmed as
youngest
well.
player to make the
In
team. I mean,
that Lions game, he got hit in 9 over 70 मारे उसको. So I don't know उसको खिलाएंगे नहीं खिलाएंगे, but it looks like Ben Stokes and McCullum are pushing for a debut. So I think he might play. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of pitches. I really want to see that. If it's a flat track, then I think it favors England. But if it's turning, then Pakistan. They're getting some new spinners. There's no Yasir Shah. For me, that's a surprise. I feel that Yasir Shah is a great test match spinner, and especially in home conditions. But let's see what happens.
it's going to be interesting to see your boy back, Joe Root. It's going to be nice to see him
Yeah,
back,
that's what
Joe
I'm
Root.
saying. Joe Root, him in these kind of conditions, he's a good player spin as well. So I think
Yeah,
he can really play well.
cause
And
damage. Yeah.
and if it's a turning wicket, he'll roll his arm around as well. Interesting to see how Pakistan go without Shaheen Afridi as well. Haris Rauf will be playing. They have, their bowling attacks are always good. They're playing in home conditions. I feel that this is going to be a good series for Babar Azam also. In these conditions, he's a good test batsman. He has the shots, and I think he's a player to watch out for. We'll discuss more,
Yeah.
the game starts on Thursday, so we will discuss more about the series. But one breaking news that today we saw from the press conference is that Mark Wood is ruled out of the first test, which is a huge loss for England. Mark Wood, we've seen him in the T20 format, but also in tests. I remember last year against Sri Lanka, he was outstanding. And without Mark Wood, there's no Jofra Archer. Of course, he's slowly coming back into rhythm. On flat pitches, you need someone like a Mark Wood who can bounce you out, who can take the pitch out of the equation at times, bowl those Yorkers and aim at the wickets and just produce a wicket for you. So no Mark Wood in the first test is a big blow for England.
But I think it's the right call because given the bigger picture of the World Cup coming in, I think just getting the injury out before having it lingering around, again it'll be that inconsistency factor and coming and going and coming and going. Rather just heal the whole injury at once and get on with the World Cup. I think that's going to be the main agenda.
Techie Live has completely talked about what I'm thinking. I think Pakistan should make lively pitches. A subcontinent team had like 3 days for batter and 4 5 for spinners. I think they should just make rank turners, man. Forget about the giving batsmen any opportunity. Just day one se palthao ball ko and see how it goes. See how the first match goes. If it doesn't work, then go to your traditional pitches where it's flat in the beginning and think. Do not give Joe Root, Ben Stokes any opportunity to play baseball, bro. Just आपकी conditions है, आप curator आपका सब आपका है. You have the advantage of home conditions. Use it. Yes, it will be a challenge for your batsmen as well. It ulta pad sakta. We've seen that with India also. I remember against Australia in 2017 in Pune, they played a rank turner in Pune in the first test match and उन्हें आके कोने Lion था या कोई और था आके he ripped
Nathan
through
Lyon.
the
Lion.
7-8 wickets ले लिया था.
Nathan Lyon था.
There's another guy as well with Lion, bro. I forgot his name. Left arm था शायद. But yeah, they ripped through the Indian attack. So ulta pad sakta, but take the risk and see what's the harm in that first test match. Make it entertaining. Play to your strengths. Rank turner, bhai, ball once, and let the English media say this is not suitable for test cricket, this and that. Do whatever they want, but your objective is to win. Put them under the pump and then see if you because I just have a feeling if it's good for batting, England can capitalize. Not to say that Pakistan don't have a chance. Pakistan have a chance anyway because it's even if it's flatter wicket, if it's good to bat on, it will turn 4-5. And Pakistan have a better understanding of how to bat, how to pace their innings in these conditions. So they'll always have a chance. But I'm just saying, put them under the pump from ball one.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting also, like how Pakistan handle the home crowd, and after a long time, I think they're gonna have a series there finally, and it's gonna be good to
I mean,
see.
they've been playing
Uh,
series. They played a few test matches against South Africa there as well last year. It's coming back into the fold, but
yeah,
I think the likes of England coming from the big three of the ICC, that's big news
and
for
the
them.
big and the just the ones beating them in the final. I think वो थोड़ा बहुत दर्द रहेगा अभी उनके दिल में. In England taking the World Cup away from them as well, but it's going to be amazing cricket to watch. Sad, with Mark Wood not being able to make the cut and sort of being injured. It would have been nice to see him bowl in on those Pakistani pitches, and how he sort of manages to work with it. But yeah, it's just going to be interesting. I'm just waiting for Joe Root, like you said. I just want to watch him play. It's always a nice, beautiful game that he portrays, and hopefully gets a century.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I was reading an article from Mark Nicholas on Cricket Info. He's talking about the nostalgia of playing in Pakistan, and talking about the likes of Majid Khan, Waqar Younis, Wasim Akram, Imran Khan, Javed Miandad. And it just got me going that, cricket
OGs,
is
the OGs.
Pakistan. Yeah, you'll see more development. The fact that they're playing in their home conditions. I don't know if it's going to be packed stadiums or anything because it's a test match, but at least on weekends and stuff, youngsters can go and see their idols play, and it'll give them also an understanding of test cricket, right? It's a 5 day thing. You have to toil in different conditions. Yeah, at times it's going to be ridiculously boring. It's going to be like bhai kya dekh rahe hain? But I just feel that the way this England team is lined up, and the likes of Babar Azam now reaching his peak, it's going to be entertaining. There will be
Yeah.
parts where you'll be very excited. There'll be parts where you probably want to sleep. But I just feel, it's going to be a good test series to look forward to, and hopefully we get to see some close matches.
Hopefully, I think yeah, after the whole 2020, 2020, 2020, देख के I think अभी full finally test cricket देखने में मजा तो आएगा. Obviously, it's the best format of cricket for me personally. I love, because जो patience का level दिखता है, जो आदमी की temperament उसमें ही दिख के आती है आपको, और कोई गेम में दिख के नहीं आएंगे आपको. How you read the situation, how you absorb the pressure, how you work, what 5 days में win get करना, and making a result out of the whole game. वो इतना प्यारा चीज दिखता है. Okay, how you sort of tactically, how you systematically make that happen, and it's going to be
Yeah.
crazy. I hope I'm so excited for the series, because also because of, like I mentioned, the final. थोड़ा बहुत दर्द रहेगा, थोड़ा बहुत चलन रहेंगे उससे, so they'll try to get some redemption. थोड़ा बहुत लड़के, Pakistan will try to get a victory in.
100%. Techie Live giving us some great suggestions. Please share some hashtags in your title description, so it helps spread the stream. For sure, we'll do that. Thank you so much for letting us
Thank you
know.
so much.
And make sure you also spread the word, share it with your friends and on Twitter and everything. We're a new channel, so we would love to continue growing. We love the game. We'll try to get the most. Of course, we have different opinions. You won't agree with them all the time, but that's the fun of cricket, right? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Faiz will
Yep.
say something, I'll say something else. I'm backing Rishabh Pant, he's not backing Rishabh Pant. So that's the beauty of the sport. We get to have different discussions, different topics, and we encourage everyone to join us and give their opinion. It doesn't mean you have to agree with us or we have to agree with you, but it's always good to get a different opinion. Techie
It's
Live
all
giving
just
us.
about the love of the game. I think all about the love of the game,
Yeah,
discussion,
yeah.
and you
And I
learn
love the
something, we
passion
learn
also.
something. Yeah, yeah,
Arey, ne kya kar raha baigan ye wo. I love the passion also, when you get angry, this and that's all, as long as you're in your limits, it's always good to have that passion for your team and for the sport. Also, one more topic is that before the Pakistan England series starts on Thursday, on the Wednesday, the Calypso Kings will be
yeah.
playing against Australia. They're going to be playing the Test match series in Australia, and it's not the same as the likes of Michael Holding and Courtney Walsh, Courtney Ambrose, and Malcolm Marshall, Gary Sobers, all these guys. They're not going to Australia, but this new generation of West Indies, especially in Test matches, what we've seen from the home matches, what they did to England, before basketball was created. I'm a bit excited. I still think there's going to be a ridiculously tough tour for them, but in
Yeah.
Perth, if their Pacers get the conditions that they want. The likes of Kemar Roach, Jaden Seals, Jason Holder, and Alzari Joseph, I think they can cause some problems. It depends on how the wicket is. In Australia, sometimes flat wicket रहता है. आके स्मिथ और लबुशन पूरा दिन खेल लेते हैं, but थोड़ा सा ग्रास बाउंसी पर्थ में, स्पेशली पहला टेस्ट मैच में अगर कोई कंडीशंस मिले, this four pronged attack can cause some problems, and I'm really excited to see if they can.
Yeah, 100%. It's gonna be interesting to see, and with the World Cup they had, unfortunately, I think they would really want to prove themselves. They have something to work towards. It's gonna be interesting in terms of you. If they get that bounce and you sort of cause early wickets, I think then Australia is gonna be in a problem. But Australia also coming from a very good, sort of win and sort of a tournament, so I think they'll have their heads up high and blooming in confidence right now.
100%, man. No run. Smith and Levishin are gonna bat all day, I feel. But I think that, like, थोड़ा सा grassy pitch है, थोड़ा conditions favor में bowlers के लिए, then watch out for this West Indies bowling attack, man. I think they can be dangerous on their day. Again, their batting might be a bit of a worry, but let's see. I've seen West Indies over the last 4 or 5 years once in a while come up with great historic test wins, whether it was that series win against England at home, against Pakistan, that one wicket victory, even beating England in Lords. Was it Lords? It was one of the matches in England in 2017 where they chased it down. I think a Shai Hope scored a magnificent 100. I've seen them pull off some victories, and maybe this series might be the time for them to come back onto the test match map. They have the bowling. When you have a bowling attack like that, you're always in the game. So let's see what happens. And it'll be a tough tour, though. Australia is never an easy place
Yeah,
to
and
go.
I think in like opening that Usman Khwaja is going to be there in the test, and it's going to be
Yeah,
fun to see him. Always he pulls out something also, so like one century or एक जबरदस्त innings
yeah.
खेलता उन्हें. तो उसका
And
भी
bro,
Usman
if you
Khwaja में
remember
Khwaja. Yeah,
sorry to cut you there, but remember the India series when Rishabh Pant, that magnificent winner, Gaba, one of the best test series wins away from home. You remember that was such a tough tour though. Girte parke kya ki karke, like, India was in the back foot until that last session when Pant came and smashed it. Even that game where they drew, Ashwin taking balls to the chest, Vihari taking balls to the chest. Australia is
yeah,
not an easy place to
not
tour.
easy
That's why
place.
I rate that win like one of the highest. Even I messaged you that time and telling you that, bro, this is crazy because it's not easy. I watched that series ball by ball.
Power,
It's not,
yeah.
and Australia is very difficult, man, to play. So it'll be a challenge
Yeah, I
for
think
Australia.
Australia is like the boss that you have in video games. वो last का जो boss रहता है ना उसको
Yeah,
मारने के लिए you need to go
hostile
with
हो जाता,
everything.
crowd
Yeah,
भी
and
चढ़
they
जाती,
love their
दिमाग
cricket. They love
फुल
their
कर
test
देती.
cricket as well. वो public को
Yeah,
full कर देती पूरी ground and एक
तंग कर देती
atmosphere
पूरा,
एक
and
hostile situation था जॉन सीना
hostile
रॉयल
रहता.
रंबल में घुस जा रहा था सीन है वो पूरे against में रहते
Hostile
ऐसा सीन
situation
था.
रहता, yeah, it's, you're right, and mentally draining रहते tour. So that's why that for me that
इधर
Gabba
आके
win.
मैं अपना अपने जो कोहली है इनला इनला फ्लेयर अप होके aggressive हो जाता
Yeah,
कोहली भी like he'll also
Kohli's
get
first
into
over
that.
उन्होंने सीधा मिडिल फिंगर दे दिया था crowd को. Siraj भी like किसी को भी
हरभजन
ball
मंकी
करता
बुला
था.
दिया था वो सब केस हो गया था याद है वो
Yeah, that
हरभजन
Harbhajan
मंकी
के
बुला
साथ
दिया
जो
था.
हुआ था. So it's a hostile place, and that's why I rate Rishabh Pant and I rate that whole series on
Yeah.
another level because Australia, man, very difficult, bro. And that's why for me, Rahane is right there in captaincy in Indian
Oh,
history captain. No,
राणे
36
यार.
all out हुए थे, याद रखो वही tour में. I'm just mentioning it because West Indies are going there, and hopefully they do compete. But we've seen the likes of New Zealand, Pakistan, like a lot of teams. The only team that I remember who dominated in Australia was South Africa, bro.
South
Whether it was
Africa,
under
yeah.
Faf du Plessis or even under Graham Smith and stuff, they played really well in Australia.
कंडीशन थोड़ा
They had
सिमिलर
the
है बोल
ball.
के चल जाता है उनको. I think थोड़े बहुत
Yeah,
कंडीशन
they're the only team who found it like a bit comfortable, but the rest of the boys, especially subcontinent teams, and thing, it's always difficult, bro. So let's see what happens in against the West Indies. We have cricket to look forward to now. There's a lot of
yes.
football as well. So all our football fans, make sure you follow Chasing Green Arrows as well. That's our football channel. We focus on fantasy football, but fantasy football means you have to discuss what's happening in the real game. So we discuss all the games, the goals, and everything. Me and Fairs are behind the scenes in that channel, but we have some really good journalists who cover and they give their analysis and opinion. So make sure you like and subscribe there. It's World Cup fever, so let's get that going. And Fairs, we just saw a great game, Cameroon versus Serbia. That was a fantastic game. Some nice matches. Brazil playing also today against Switzerland, and Uruguay, Portugal. That's going to cap off an exciting day for
True.
football. So, yeah,
Of course.
plenty of
And then
sports to look forward to.
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. The 30th India's one day. उसके बाद then you have Sri Lanka and Afghanistan. I think the final one day. फिर पाकिस्तान का series, Australia, West Indies. पूरी टीवी कुछ रख देने का है सामने. 4 TVs रख देना सामने. It's gonna be like that kind of a week, that kind of a month.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then अपने पास उसके बाद IPL got World Cup. It's just so much cricket and so much drama. I'm looking forward to. Hopefully Sanju doesn't warm the bench. I think it's time to like sort of get him warming his pads. So inshallah, I'm gonna do a lot of dua for him.
Yeah, let's see what happens there. We have that match on Wednesday, the India New Zealand, and we have plenty of Test cricket to follow as well. So thank you so much for joining us, especially Techie Live and everyone else who've joined us. We don't know your names right now, but thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Always comment. You can ask us questions even when we're not live in the comments. We will reply to that. And like I said, we're a small channel. We're a new channel. We're looking to
Yeah,
grow and looking to get you involved as well. We'll get some guests on as well, hopefully in the future. So make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned for the latest cricketing content. Thank you so much. Have a good day, guys, and first take care. See you soon.
take care. Take care.